What's the thing that you've tried to explain to either your parents or your grandparents that they just can't get on board with? No matter how many times you explain to them, it's like this now, Grandma. They don't get it. 601-995-1017. There was a group of older ladies who logged on to BuzzFeed.
Yeah.
And they decided to spill the things that younger generations do that they don't understand.
Oh, no.
The first one, the crying online thing has always bothered me, and I'm not that old either. I just don't get why you film yourself in such a vulnerable state and put it online. I don't usually bring out the cringe label, but it sure fits in this case.
I totally understand that person. I feel like that might be somebody who is my age because it's like, I'm not that old. I don't get it. It's not that I don't get sharing something vulnerable online, though. It's that I don't get if you are in the middle of a breakdown being like, wait, let me pause, set up my tripod, set up my camera, hit record, and then resume. Like, that's what I don't understand.
Have you ever seen the video of the guy, like it's like a wider shot of that exact thing happening, him crying in his car, and he's like making a face, and then he stops and sets up his camera and everything, and then has his mental breakdown.
Yeah, that just feels really awkward. I feel like that would totally stop the momentum of my breakdown. Like, maybe that's what I should start doing so then I can stop the breakdown.
Snap yourself out of it.
I'd be like, oh, wait, I got to record this.
Let me get my ring light real quick. I feel like I'm going to cry. The lashes, this one says. My daughter has lash shampoo. My 67-year-old friend let her granddaughter put lashes on her for a class she was taking, and I laughed my butt off whenever I saw her. We're just having trouble getting used to the toy doll-looking lashes. Sorry, I'm trying.
No,
See,
that's
she's at least
fair.
trying.
That's fair. I love lashes, but I do get a lot of hate when I wear lashes.
I don't want to start any debates or anything, another old lady writes, but one thing I think is nuts and needs to come to a complete stop is sending dirty pictures to strangers. Seriously, nothing good comes from it. Well, maybe nothing good comes from you sending nudes to strangers, Granny.
I think that it is good advice, but I can also, like, that's nothing that you're going to be able to explain to Grandma, because that just didn't even exist in Grandma's world throughout her whole life in dating. So, like, you're not going to be able to explain Snapchat to Grandma.
I know a guy. He's probably like 65 now or something, but I remember like 10, 15 years ago him saying, if I would have had a cell phone with a camera on it whenever I was a kid, pictures of me would have been all over the place. That's what this guy who's like in his 60s now used to say.
The difference between boys and girls.
What about you? Have you ever tried to explain something to an older person and they weren't able to comprehend?
I think I am the older person that I've had younger people try to explain things to me, and
like
I
what?
feel so old. Why dating apps are good. Seriously, one of my friends who's like 20, young 20s, was like sitting me down like, no, this is how you need to use Tinder and Bumble. You're just not doing it right. And I was like, I can't make a connection. Like how do you make a connection? She's like, it's not about the connection. I'm like, well, then explain it to me. I don't get it. Mm-hmm. But she had no luck. I was the old person who just didn't get it.
The thing that I couldn't explain to my grandmother was a little bit of a minimalist mentality whenever it comes to work sometimes. Not if I like a job, not if I want to excel at a job, but if I'm working a job that I don't care about and I'm going to do the minimum to not get fired. And I told her that one time because I was real mad the company I was working for had like gone through a reorganization and cut a bunch of hours. So I was working like 4 less hours a week, which is like a 10% pay cut if you're an hourly employee. And I was complaining and I said to her, well, I'm just going to do 10% less stuff. She's like, Adam. She like yelled at me. She was like, Adam. You need to work as hard as you can.
No.
That's what's wrong with your generation.
Could you imagine trying to explain quiet quitting to your grandma?
Oh, I wouldn't even attempt it. Would not even attempt it. That was kind of what I was trying to convey, this whole quiet quitting mentality. What did you try to explain to an older person and they couldn't grasp the concept? And not to make fun of anybody. This is just like born in a different generation and don't really understand, like can't understand. Like I have to assume that my grandparents have an incredibly hard time understanding how you can watch videos on a phone.
Yeah.
I'm sure that is just such a crazy concept.
Absolutely. And I mean, there's stuff even for me, and I'm not very old, that I see, and I'm like, I just don't get it.
601-995-1017. We got a text from somebody story who said they had to explain anime to their principal. How did that go? Like, why'd you need to explain that to him?
I tried to explain that anime was basically just Japanese cartoons and what Naruto was, and he just did not get it. He did not understand why I would want to watch a cartoon from another country.
And what was your explanation?
But cartoons and anime are so different. But then he just was like, but why would you want to, but what's so wrong about American cartoons? I was like, there's nothing wrong about American cartoons.
They're just different.
Yeah, they're different. They're very different.
Thank you for the call. We appreciate you. 601-995-1017 is our phone number. Couldn't understand what was wrong with Charlie Brown. Why not just watch the Peanuts? We've got the Peanuts.
It's so different. I'm going to keep this person anonymous just in case, but it says, my mom had a doctor's appointment this past Monday, and I was the lucky person to bring her. She wanted Red Lobster, and I told her it's closed. She was like, nuh-uh, the one off 55 by Olive Garden isn't. And she was like, yes, Mom, it's closed. She ended up having to pull up to the front of the restaurant, and the mom got out of the car to go up to see that there was a note on the door and a lock, and was like, oh yeah, it is closed.
That is so funny. The mom wouldn't even budge. She's like, you're driving me.
She was not going to give up the dream of those Cheddar Bay biscuits.
I also found out the hard way one day on those Cheddar Bay biscuits. Same Red Lobster. I was very, very sad.
It is sad.
It sure is. One of the things that was on BuzzFeed was an older lady said she can't understand the caterpillar eyelashes that are so popular now. Yvonne texted us and said, talking about lashes, those big snuffleupagus lashes need to go away. I cannot take someone wearing them seriously. I'll bust up laughing.
I don't know. I get the lashes. I love a good lash.
Why?
Like, I mean, I usually only wear those if it's like Halloween or if like I'm going to be taking pictures so they'll really stand out. Otherwise, I go for something that would be called like a wispy or a natural lash. But I like adding a little extra zhuzh to my lash.
Does it weigh your eyelids down? Can you feel them, or do you just forget about it? Because I would feel like those would be little anchors and my eyes would be like almost closed.
The ones that look like, as Yvonne described, snuffleupagus eyelashes, those you do feel the weight. Like you, and the funniest to me are the girls who wear them on a windy day, and you see their eyelids like lift up every time the wind blows because those eyelashes are hanging on for dear life.
Like it's a sail on a boat. That's hilarious. Well, if they ever like maybe went skydiving or something, maybe they could use the eyelashes as a parachute. I don't know.